Welcome back to Rants, and when I was a kid, people knew how to take jokes. Folks, I don't consider myself to be the next best thing when it comes to ranting, but it seems that there is lots of people out there that like to make commentaries on my videos, bashing my video making. They say that I don't go into detail as to the shows I watch and that I'm a nostalgia-tard. Well, here's the video that's going to address those videos, but it's going to be addressed in disguise of the next rant on my former favorite channel. Here is my fourth part rant on Cartoon Network. Didn't get a chance to talk about. Well, let's catch up on them, shall we? Here's another crappy show from their stupid live-action library, Hole in the Wall. This is a game show that used to be on the Fox network, but was soon canceled and brought to Cartoon Network. Yeah, let's bring back a show that didn't even last a season on a channel that's known for canceling shows that everybody likes and hates. Anyway, this show is about kids and families who, in order to win, they have to fit through holes in this big styrofoam wall, or else they get pushed into a pool of sulfuric acid and die a horrible death. Nah, I'm just kidding. It's water. Well, doesn't this sound like quality entertainment? No, it doesn't. This show is terrible. That has got to be the worst idea for a game show ever. That wouldn't even qualify as a messed up Japanese game show. Hole in the Wall? More like, this show will make you drill a hole in your head. And can you guess the other thing wrong with this show? That's right, it's yet another live-action show on Cartoon Network. Well, I'm tired of getting mad about a cartoon channel airing live-action shows, so instead, here's a picture of a booby. Besides live-action crap, Cartoon Network has picked up more cartoons, like The Spawn of Satan, and a new show that is co-produced in the UK, The Amazing World of Gumball. Weird to me because at first I thought he was a rabbit, and his best friend Darwin, who is a goldfish, and they do awesome things! Around Gumball and Darwin, there are several awesome things, like talking donuts, cacti, balloons, stripping bananas, ghosts, giant washing machines, and a T-Rex that comes out of nowhere! Awesome! This is the best show known to mankind! This is way better than the cartoons I grew up with! This is even better than Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi! I love this show! Nah, I'm just being sarcastic. This show sucks! I'm sorry. I know there are a lot of people out there that like this show, and I know I'm going to get lots of criticism for this, but consarn it, let me have my opinions. For starters, this is another CN show that makes no sense at all. And I know it's a cartoon, but that doesn't give it an excuse to still be, well, drugged up. I mean, Darwin is a friggin' fish. Yeah, he can walk, talk, and he goes nowhere near water. Shouldn't he, I don't know, be suffocating? Also, for a show called The Amazing World of Gumball, this sure doesn't live up to the title. Shouldn't a show that's supposed to be amazing not have episode plots that deal with Gumball and Darwin trying to avoid paying late fees for a movie? Yeah, that's the first episode I saw. Gumball, who names their kid that? Anyway, and Darwin have a video that's overdue, and they try to avoid paying a late fee. I would talk about the episode, but I can't remember anything from it because I find this show very forgettable. I remember being bored and just nothing making me laugh or amaze me, so I had a pretty good idea on why I hated this show. But to stop from looking like a biased crackpot, I watched another one. Gets in a relationship with a cloud. That's right, I said a cloud. A fish gets in a relationship with a cloud. Well, anyway, I remember this episode being cliched and it also did not impress me. After that, I had a pretty good idea that I hated this show. It's just another cartoon that feels like it's for stoners. The episodes are cliched and bland, the characters are uninteresting. I will admit though, the animation can be good sometimes, but that's just another show that I can't jump on the bandwagon and like. Anyway, since my last rant, Cartoon Network has got new bumpers where it shows clips of their shows, and then two guys in a C and N costumes going, yeah! Well, those seem very creative, don't they? Another thing that Cartoon Network has done recently is that they're trying to stop bullying. So they have famous people such as Neo, whoever that is, and a Brooklyn guy they found on the street talk to kids about how to stop bullying. The first thing that annoys me about these is the idea that they can stop bullying. I love their determination, but bullying just can't be eradicated. Like it or not. I'm not being negative, I'm just being rational. Second, these ads are just so cheesy. It shows a kid being picked on and another kid sitting there watching, and then he decides to run and tell an adult, and the adult saves the day, and everything's okay. Yeah, because that's how it works in real life. Does the phrase mind your own business mean anything to you? If kids try to stop kids being picked on, then they'll get involved with something that's not their business, and so they'll become a target of the bully. And then more and more people get involved, and it causes World War III. Yeah, and the goal is to try to get rid of bullying. Anyway, even though there are some exceptions, nobody should get involved when somebody's being bullied. You'll turn a small problem into a bigger problem. Third, why is this on Cartoon Network? I know this is aimed at kids, and kids watch this, but kids don't watch TV to be told what to do. They watch TV to be entertained. It's Cartoon Network. If you're going to do these ads, do them with cartoon characters and make them funny. But if you ask me, the best way to get rid of bullying is to toughen kids up and teach them to ignore bullies. I used to be bullied a lot to where I almost killed myself, but I learned to annoy the bullies and deal with them. And look at me now. I'm a joyous soul that's full of hope. If it worked for me, it'll work for you. Anyway, let's talk about some of Cartoon Network's other programming, like Star Wars: The Clone Wars. This show is about what happens in the Star Wars universe during the Clone Wars. My thoughts: stop milking off the Star Wars franchise. George Lucas has enough money as it is, he doesn't need more. Second, the CGI animation makes the characters look really ugly. And third, the prequel Star Wars movies sucked, so what's the point of making spin-offs of them? And there's been a show that people have requested me to talk about. They definitely got me interested. What show could be so bad that people are comparing it to the Antichrist? Well, it's none other than the Problem Solverz. And that's Solverz with a Z, because poor literacy is... you know the quote. Anyway, this show is about a giant pile of pudding, a weird robot, and some random guy, and they solve problems. Let me tell you, I've only seen 5 minutes of this show, and I stopped watching. You know why? This show is freaking terrible! My gosh! I never thought anyone could make a cartoon this bad, but I thought wrong. The animation is so bad I'd rather stick railroad spikes through my eyes than stare at it. The voice acting sounds like the actors are not even trying, and the humor is so bad the womp 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 noise doesn't even do it justice. This show sucks. I can't believe that any network would have any sense in them to greenlight this show, but they did. I read that this show was so bad it only lasted 1 season. Thank God somebody at Cartoon Network had some sense to cancel this show. Now excuse me while I erase the memory of this show from my memory. What were we talking about again? Okay, seeing as how I struck a lot of controversy talking about these next 2 shows, it's time for me to address them yet again. First, let's talk about Adventure Time. Alright, so it's about a boy named Finn and his shape-shifting dog named Jake. They go on adventures in this weird little world. Sometimes they are aided by their friends, Marceline, who is a vampire, but she acts gothic, so I really couldn't tell the difference. Fluffy Space Princess, who sounds like a guy, and a bunch of talking pieces of candy. Anyway, I actually saw full episodes of this show, if that means anything to you folks. The first one I saw was The Wiggler, and it did not impress me. Finn and Jake find a little creature called a Wiggler that dances, and Finn and Jake party with it. Jokes, and the fact the Wiggler kept spraying this purple stuff all over the place, and it was making me sick. Overall, I wasn't satisfied. So I tried another one, Prisoners of Love, and this one didn't impress me either. Finn and Jake are captured by the Ice King, and he just wanted some friends or something. I don't know, I can't remember. Anyway, this episode wasn't funny either, and there wasn't anything that stood out about it. It was just another get captured and escape. So, even though I know this is going to tick off people, I stopped watching after that. I'm sorry. I tried. I wanted to like this show. I really did, but It just didn't click with me. Bottom line, I still hate this show. It's underwhelming, the animation is still bad, and the jokes still aren't funny. And I know this show is loved by several people, and I understand that. But this show just isn't for me, okay? Are we clear on that? Thank you. Now, let's talk about this show again. Oh gosh. Anyway, this show is about a blue jay named Mordecai and a raccoon named Rigby, and they are slackers that work at a park and they get into weird situations that the strongest of illegal drugs can't make you experience. They're friends with a walking and talking gumball machine named Benson, an abominable snowman who wears pants named Skips, a ghost with a hand on his head called High Five Ghost, and a fat guy named Muscle Man, and a flamboyant lollipop named Pops, who really creeps me out. What a great bunch of characters we have here, huh? Anyway, I've watched full episodes of this show too, much to my dismay. The first one I watched was Benson Be Gone, where Benson gets fired and a human named Susan takes over his job. Benson eventually becomes a bum, but he goes back to the park because Susan is turning all of his friends into her. In the end, Susan turns out being a demon from the depths of the underworld, and Benson gets rid of her by ramming his boss's car into her high heels. No, I'm not kidding. That's how the episode happened. What is this? Aqua Teen Hunger Force's long-lost cousin? Anyway, the other episode I saw, which name escapes me, dealt with Mordecai seeing Pops naked. Okay. Anyway, he tries to get away from the memory, so Skips and Rigby go into Mordecai's head by going into their VCR, and a bunch of weird stuff happens from there. And I'm ready to stop talking about this because I don't want to sound like I broke from the insane asylum. Bottom line, I still hate this show. The characters aren't likable, the dialogue is moronic, the jokes are premature, the plots go from being boring to just being completely drug-induced, and the animation seems cheap. So whether you like it or not, I still hate these two shows no matter how many episodes I watch. And no matter how many commentaries you make, I'm still going to hate them. I don't watch cartoons to make me feel like I'm high. I watch cartoons to be entertained. I know they're cartoons and they have the right to be weird, but they're really pushing it. These shows are being weird for the sake of being weird, and that's not how you do it. And this is coming from somebody who watches films made by David Lynch. Listen, I know there are people out there that like these shows. If you like them, good for you, but I don't. Me not liking these shows isn't going to affect your life in any way, so just leave me alone. Gosh. Now, let me give you my short opinions on some of Cartoon Network's other programming. The Garfield Show. Insult to Garfield. Johnny Test. Bland and not interesting. Adult Swim is full of shows that are actually stupider than Cartoon Network shows. Anyway, to prove to you people I'm not a biased nostalgia tard, there is actually one show that Cartoon Network makes that I like. That's right, it's Mad. So this show is basically the cartoon version of the magazine, which I'm a big fan of. It features parodies of pop culture and does a great job of it. Only on this cartoon can you see Miley Cyrus trying to kill Justin Bieber, and only on this cartoon can you see Wall-E as the Terminator. This show features several mini-skits that have little jokes to them, and most of them are very funny. I mean, sure, some of the jokes can be gross and weird, but it's Mad. That's the point of it. So bottom line, this show is one of the few good cartoons on now. Not to mention, it's the only good cartoon that Cartoon Network's airing right now. Sure, 10 years from now the humor may be dated, but for now, this is a great break from the modern cartoons we have now. So bottom line, there's my thoughts on Cartoon Network again. They continue to go downhill, and there is no sign of them improving. When they're not making cartoons that have you questioning your sanity, they're rebooting old cartoons and insulting the originals in the face. And, whether some of you like it or not, I'm not going to like certain cartoons you like. And I don't care what you call me. I'm me, and nobody's going to change me. So, there. And Cartoon Network, either start treating us like we're cartoon fans or just stop broadcasting. It's simple as that. I'm Ben, and I'm signing out. I'm going to go put my straitjacket on.